Before I came to First Call, there was so much that I didn't understand about the disease of alcohol and that my children didn't understand. And so I think just taking how to cope and being educated on the facts and understanding that the choices and some of the decisions that Pat was making to learn that it was a disease was eye-opening. I think there are so many people that don't see it as a disease. Once you're in First Call, I feel like you're in there for life, and I feel like it's a family that you can always reach out to.
Hello, everyone. I'm Susan Whitmore, President and CEO of First Call. It's my pleasure to stand before you today as we honor our amazing 2021 Community Gratitude Luncheon honorees. Each year, First Call honors people who work to further our shared goal in 6 distinct ways, including Lifetime Achievement, Recovery Champion of the Year, Professional of the Year, Philanthropist of the Year, and Volunteer of the Year, and Youth Advocacy. First, I'd also like to thank those who helped make today happen. Thank you to our Luncheon Committee for all your time, attention to detail, and commitment to this event. Sergeant Garen Carter, Darla Bellflower, the Reverend Darren Faulkner, Kirk and Nicole Gordon, Leanne Johnson, Michael Liamata, Gloria Napote, and Tony Whitworth. Also to those staff members on the committee, Marshall Alverson, Sarah Link Ferguson, Melissa Gard, and Emily Haig. It's our collaboration with you, all of you who are with us today, as well as the great work of First Call staff and leadership from the First Call board that keeps First Call growing and thriving. And to those families who are joining us today, we'd like you to know that you are not alone. At First Call, we know that for every one person fighting addiction, at least 10 others are impacted. First Call's 24-hour crisis call line is of critical importance to our families and our clients, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, we fielded almost 2,000 crisis calls from 1,500 clients. In a moment of fear, concern, or frustration, 1,500 individuals have called, and we have been there to help. As the only 24/7 crisis call line focused on substance use disorder in Kansas City, First Call is well-versed in helping individuals and families in the throes of addiction. But in 2020, these calls have gotten more severe in terms of suicidality and emotional intensity. Callers to the crisis line need First Call more than ever, and we will remain a steady support for Kansas City through this tumultuous year and the years to come.
First Call helps individuals and families regardless of their story without any judgment. We go in, we help communities, we help people, and there's no questions asked. And it makes it a really open environment, and it makes people want to come here, and it also makes people want to work here. There's no judgment here. We all understand the impact of substance use. We also understand the stigma that surrounds substance use. So we try to make First Call the most welcoming environment that we can, and I think our staff does a great job at that.
Hello to everyone watching. I'm Dick Ryan, Board Chair of First Call, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our first ever virtual 2021 Community Gratitude Luncheon. I am truly honored and grateful to be here today as we recognize these amazing people engaged in prevention and recovery work in our community. This year's honorees represent the dedication and resiliency that we have witnessed throughout this past year. We understand that times are difficult, which is why it's more important than ever to celebrate the contributions that each honoree has made. Through their stories, we see the strength and hope will always prevail. I'd like to express our deep gratitude to our generous sponsors and to the many individuals, foundations, and agencies who support First Call. We could not do the important work we do without you. Before we congratulate this year's award recipients, I'd also like to take this time to recognize all those in the recovery community. We can't underestimate your importance and courageousness, and I hope you know that we celebrate your accomplishments as well. Thank you all for joining us today, and now I'll turn it over to Emily Haig, Vice President of Development at First Call.
treatment, individual counseling, mental health services, job referrals, the reentry advocate. We provide bus passes for them. We provide clothing for them, referrals for job training. Very holistic approach. Because understanding that you're not just supporting the person just in one area, but in order for a person to become successful, you have to attack them holistically, every area of their life. And coming out of the penal system, from coming out of jail, a lot of people don't have support. So this is very important for them to know that I have the support that I need, that you're not just going to say, go to treatment, and then I get out of treatment, and then I don't have that other support.
Thanks, Dick. Hi, I'm Emily Haig, Vice President of Development at First Call. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to First Call's 2021 Virtual Gratitude Luncheon. We are so excited that you can join us today as we celebrate the outstanding achievements of each of our honorees. Every honoree being celebrated today serves as an example of the resilience and strength we see every day in the people we serve at First Call. Even during a pandemic, our community has showed up for individuals and families dealing with substance use disorder. The First Call team is so proud to work alongside them. It is examples like these that help us remain steadfast in our mission to reduce the impact of alcohol, drugs, and addiction by providing quality resources for individuals, families, and the community. First Call clinicians and prevention specialists partner with individuals, families, schools, treatment centers, community coalitions, and courts to deliver our programs. Even when the world is quarantined and full of fear, we know it is always a good time to ask for help. Keeping that in mind, we are asking for your help. Experts at First Call and elsewhere agree that the mental health fallout from the pandemic is yet to be totally known. But as a community, we know that focused support on Kansas City's substance use and mental health needs is of critical importance as we move through 2021 and beyond. So, would you consider a financial donation to support this critical work? Your gift will help ensure that individuals in need of help have access to First Call's clinical and prevention services, regardless of ability to pay. Please visit firstcallkc.org/donate so that we can continue to raise awareness, end stigma, and help the more than 60,000 individuals and families we serve every year. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. And I'll hand it off to our fearless leader, Susan Whitmore.
Families in the midst of drug and alcohol addiction are so ill-equipped to handle the situation that they really need some outside guidance. I would encourage any families struggling with addiction issues to reach out to First Call for guidance on how to navigate the situation.
And now we get to my favorite part of the program, where we acknowledge and honor achievement in the field of prevention and recovery. First Call is grateful to recognize Judi Burkholder, in memoriam, for her lifetime achievement in the substance use disorder field. Judi Burkholder began working at Healing House in 2003. From the beginning, it was clear that Judi was a tremendous asset to Healing House and all the women who resided there. She took on the title of Mama Judi and greeted everyone who came through the doors of Healing House with a welcome home baby upon their arrival. Her life's work has helped so many men and women feel a sense of belonging and guided them through their recovery journeys. Mama Judi also had her own story of recovery that she shared openly with others. She was a mother of two who struggled with addiction and abusive relationships for many years, eventually losing contact with family members as a result. But the night before she completed treatment for the 11th time, she said a prayer to God asking to stay sober. This would become her promise to serve her higher power and others for the rest of her life. Soon after, her sobriety celebrations each year on August 7th would grow to become huge events, attended by her no longer estranged family members as well. Mama Judi passed away on March 13, 2020, after a short battle with liver and pancreatic cancer. She is sorely missed by thousands, but we know she continues to work alongside those at Healing House and to help save and change people's lives in recovery. Here to honor Mama Judi is her longtime co-worker and friend, Bobby Jo Reed, Healing House CEO.
I've never known love like the love that Mama Judi shared with me. And I think there's thousands that would say the very same thing, because everybody felt special to Mama Judi. Hi, I'm Bobby Jo Reed. I'm founder and director of Healing House, and I am honored today to accept the award for Lifetime Achievement for my best buddy and person that helped me build Healing House, Miss Judi Burkholder. She was sassy and flashy. She liked to always sparkly nails, sparkly big jewelry, and all that sparkly stuff she wore on the outside was just a tiny bit of how much she sparkled on the inside. She had a very hard childhood, had 2 children, got in her addiction. There was abuse from her father, and a lot of things she just, like so many of us with addictions, things that we hadn't dealt with and tried to numb. She had been through 11 treatment centers. She said, I could teach the classes. I said, okay, sister, now you're gonna learn how to live them. Mama Judi came as a resident, and I could just see so much passion in her, and she wanted to help others. And so after she'd been there about 6 months, I asked her if she'd like to be my assistant, which she was all about it because she wanted to help folks. Mama Judi very rarely said no to anybody. You know, you got to imagine there towards the end, she was in her late 60s and 70s, and if somebody called for help for Mama Judi, she would be there. She will be forever remembered because she actively played a role in people's families being reunited. I mean, Mama Judi also worked with all the Department of Corrections, probation officers, parole officers. Mama Judi passed March 13th of 2020, and we still get calls of people wanting to talk to Mama Judi. When Judi found recovery and God, it took a hold of her. Mama Judi was love and hope. And to people with addictions, that's the most important thing that you can have.
First Call's inaugural Recovery Champion Award in 2019 was inspired by Bob Smith, a person who worked tirelessly to reduce stigma and lead others to recovery. Like Bob, the Recovery Champion has helped reduce stigma and improve access to recovery through peer support, advocacy, or public policy change. Today, we pass the torch of Recovery Champion on to Reverend Tom Langhofer, pastor of Recovery Ministries at the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection. Tom has served as pastor of Recovery Ministries at the church since 2017, where he oversees an array of addiction recovery programs. These programs include recovery from alcohol and substance use, eating disorders, sexual addictions, and support for family and friends whose loved ones are affected by addiction. Tom graduated from the University of Kansas in 1982 with a degree in business administration. Prior to his call to ministry, he was general manager of Rod Rock Development for 30 years. He served as chairman of economic development for the city of Shawnee and was on the board of economic development for the city of Olathe. Always inspired to give back to the community, Tom served on the board of directors of Healing House. He is a member of the Olathe Citizens That Care leadership team and is the former president of the board for Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Greater Kansas City. In 2014, Tom was awarded the Humanitarian of the Year award by Kelly T. Davis and Company. He was also awarded the Community Volunteer Award by the Kansas City Recovery Coalition in 2017. Married to Marcy Langhofer for over 34 years, Tom and Marcy have 2 children, Catherine Langhofer, who lives in Kansas City, and Erin Langhofer, who we lost far before her time in 2019. As a person in long-term recovery, it is Tom's mission and passion to help those who are dealing with addictions of any kind to find sobriety through Jesus Christ. Please help me congratulate Reverend Tom Langhofer.
There's nothing I would rather do than to help somebody get clean and sober. Nothing. My name is Tom Langhofer, and I serve as pastor of recovery ministries at the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection. Our recovery program, we call it Resurrection Recovery. Our goal and objective really is to help not only members of our church, but the community at large find sobriety. When I sobered up, I went back to the church and started volunteering, because what I learned is most of the pastors don't know what to do with people. And so they started using me as the go-to guy when they had somebody that needed help. I had a spiritual awakening 2 weeks sober in an AA meeting. And it was God saying, I saved your butt because you asked for help. Now I want you to go help others. You know, I wanted to be somebody in the faith community that people in recovery saw as somebody that wasn't going to judge them. You know, we hear so much about people of religion, very judgmental. What I want to convey to people in recovery is that, hey, this God that I follow is a non-judgmental God that's who he used to hang out. I mean, Jesus hung out with people like me. And so I think that's why the church was so excited about me wanting to get involved, was because I drank a quart of vodka a day. I took Klonopin, Xanax, Ambien. Hopefully we can expand on is educating the community about addiction and to provide them hope. Because you know, you're in that spot where there's like, I got no hope. You know, I don't have any hope for me, or I don't have any hope for my kid or my husband or my wife or partner or whatever. And what we try to give them is some hope. It just fills my heart with joy when I see people smile that hadn't smiled in quite a long time. It just fills my heart with joy and gives me a real sense of purpose to know that maybe I'm making a little bit of a difference in the community.
First Call is also honored to recognize an individual for Professional of the Year. This person is committed to providing quality, direct services in the substance use disorder and prevention fields. This year's recipient is Marva Moses, Executive Director of the Hickman Mills Prevention Coalition and founder and director of Hope Hangout, a community hub for youth in South Kansas City. Marva is affiliated with the Kansas City Gateway Crimes and Drug Task Force, co-chair of the Urban Prevention Conference Planning Committee, and she is the prevention lead of the Kansas City Recovery Coalition. Marva committed her life work to community service and leadership 30 years ago, having been involved in some facet of civic and community endeavors since 1990. Her passion for her community has inspired her to spend her career investing in the people of Kansas City. Early in her career, she had the opportunity to serve as community liaison and administrative assistant for Harmony in a World of Difference. It was through that experience that she developed a sincere heartbeat for the issues that began to plague her community. Since 2005, Marva has helped build resources and community support for the young people in South Kansas City. She has been the executive director of Hickman Mills Prevention Coalition since 2008. Serving the Hickman Mills area as it addresses underage use of tobacco, alcohol, marijuana, and prescription drugs, as well as risky behaviors. Under her leadership, the community has made several strides, reducing retailer tobacco signage, removing tobacco products from the counters, and starting youth leadership organizations around those issues. Marva lives to ensure the safety of young people in her community. Her motto, which stems from a lifetime of service and ministry, is, "There can be no testimony without a test." She plans to continue to work until all the needs of her community and the surrounding areas are met. Please help me congratulate Marva Moses.
You're never gonna meet more talented, honest, loyal, free-thinking young people. My name is Marva Moses. I am the Executive Director for Hickman Mills Prevention Coalition and the Director of Hope Hangout. So the coalition is a specific unit of every sector in the community, the police department, politics are involved. It's a body of agencies specific to dealing with our youth issues around substance abuse, mental health issues, as well as violence. So Hope Hangout is a teen hub located in South Kansas City, and our purpose was to give our young people a place to be after school, a space that they kind of created. They designed it, they picked out all the fun things in it, and it's really just their own little place to be after school. Anyone that knows me knows I prefer to hang out with teenagers than grown-ups. And so this was like a dream come true of an opportunity for us. When you walk into our doors, that's the first messages they get is substance abuse prevention, hotline numbers. That's how we started. So we are always aware of what our kids are facing. So what we try and do is create opportunities for them to learn more and gain a stronger skill set so they can be around their family and their peers and not succumb to the pressure of, whatever it is people are up to. We work with anyone who acknowledges that they're dealing with or they're battling with a substance, more abusing it than anything, and then we try and set them up with someplace like here. Some of my kids, without the things that we offer, I don't know where they would be. I lost a kid this summer because they moved. They moved up north, and he didn't have the space. And so all he has is Instagram and what are they doing on Facebook, and not being able to come into the hangout, get some really good, solid information and advice. I lost my baby this summer. We cannot pretend as if our kids are not here. We can't keep building spaces without young people in mind. And so teaching that is as important to my kids as it is my community. We don't throw people away, and a lot of them feel thrown away. You just have to give kids room. They'll blow your mind how intuitive they are and how fair they can be. It's a real family kind of thing, and I'm trying to teach them to take care of each other no matter what.
Each year, we also recognize a philanthropist for support that has had a significant impact on First Call operations. I'm delighted to say that the Philanthropists of the Year for 2021 are Jeff and Melanie Cameron. Jeff Cameron served on the board of First Call through 2018. When he left the board, he expressed interest in remaining involved with the agency. He and his wife, Melanie, have always been generous donors. Together, they pledged a major gift for the 2014-15 capital campaign, and they have been giving ever since. As our first matching donors, the Camerons helped First Call grow our year-end fundraising campaign. The Camerons have become sustaining donors, and again, in 2020, they made the lead gift for the annual appeal. As a vascular surgeon, Jeff remains extremely busy with his career, but throughout the years, he has always been willing to help First Call board broaden its support in the community. The Camerons have been instrumental with forming relationships with local hospitals and bringing on sponsors to help fund First Call events. We are so grateful to Jeff and Melanie for their ongoing gifts, which we use to support and help both adults and children impacted by a loved one's substance use. The Camerons' generosity makes a world of difference to those we serve. Please help me welcome Jeff and Melanie Cameron.
It's more just upbringing, how we've always felt. You want to help people. It's kind of between being a doc and a nurse, that's sort of what you went into it for, and it's just a natural extension when you have the means to help folks in any way you can. I'm Jeff Cameron, and I've been involved with First Call for about a dozen years.
I'm Melanie Cameron, and I've also been involved with First Call for about 12 years, and we are honored to be this year's nominated Philanthropists of the Year. First Call is an excellent resource in our community for people who are struggling or in a difficult situation and don't have anywhere to go.
If you need help, this is a good place to go. It's safe, it's confidential. They have smart people there that can help you get through very difficult situations. We got into supporting First Call through Hugh, a friend of mine, introduced us to the First Call program back when they were over on 63rd Street. So I was on the board for a few years. I understand personally how important it is to have family support going through alcoholism and things. And I also see that families need support. So it's real close to me. And you live it and you see it, you understand.
I think the ultimate goal with any philanthropic endeavor is to get the maximum benefit from our contributions to the people who need it most. I thought it was definitely a worthwhile cause, knowing what First Call does in the community, that we wanted to do anything we could to support that and make it as much of an available service to those in need in our community as possible.
Just always try to be better. What can you do that'll make things a little bit better around you, or a little bit better in society? So the idea is, you try to be better. We feel very lucky, grateful, and like to share that.
First Call's Youth of the Year recognizes a youth advocate or a group of advocates working to prevent substance use and reduce substance misuse in the community. This year, we are delighted to present this honor to Sam Sybrant. Sam is a 2020 graduate of Shawnee Mission North High School, where he was a 4-year athlete. Throughout his young life, Sam has had to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles, and it was during his high school years that he developed a substance use disorder. But Sam met his greatest challenge, his addiction, and now has been in recovery for over 2 years. Since the beginning of his life in recovery, he has been a role model, a leader, and a mentor to many young people, inspiring them to make positive choices in their lives. He also continues to enjoy many hobbies that include sports, weightlifting, music, motorcycles, and spending time with family. Please help me extend a warm welcome to Sam.
If I'm able to have somebody approach me because my story helped them, that would be outstanding. My name's Sam Sybrant, and I am the Youth of the Year Award winner. I went to school at Shawnee Mission North. Was a 4-year choir member, 4-year athlete of some sort, whether it be football, baseball, or the ROTC program. So I was always doing something. There was a few very close personal deaths back in 2018 that hit me really hard. I did not handle that the best. I saw people turn to the bottle. So I was like, hey, maybe, that's what I can do. I was starting to realize the problems that were coming with it. Some of my friends had noticed. My family had not noticed yet. And before they did notice, I said, hey, I have to put this down before it's something I can't change anymore. So when I realized this was an issue, it wasn't so much that I reached out to people. It was a little bit of willpower. It was definitely reaching deep within myself. The weight room plays a critical role in recovery for me. So Miss Johnson-Berry, she's like a school mom to me. She was my English teacher. Some people at elementary, middle, high school levels have that one teacher that is almost like a parent and not just a teacher, and for me, that was her. If I couldn't turn anywhere, her door was always open. That classroom was always there. Miss Johnson-Berry called me and she said, hey, may I nominate you for this award? I said, tell me a little bit about it. She filled me in and said, this is what's for us? Absolutely. Especially if my story can help other people get from where I was to where I am now, help them get from wherever they are to a higher level. It definitely does feel good, though, that I'm able to take this story, like he said, you did the right thing, and help other people to get them to hopefully do the right thing for themselves.
Finally, First Call's Volunteer of the Year recognizes an individual whose generosity with resources and experience has had a significant impact on First Call programs and operations. This year's Volunteer of the Year is Kathleen Callahan. Kathleen has been an active volunteer at First Call since August 2020, when she joined the Resource Development Committee. In just a short amount of time, she has made a huge impact. Kathleen's service is guided by the quote, "For of those to whom much is given, much is required." Her volunteerism in the Kansas City area includes support of schools, children's charities, and most recently, First Call. No stranger to volunteering, Kathleen has chaired 6 auctions over several decades at St. Teresa's Academy, Rockhurst High School, and the Sigma Chi fraternity at the University of Missouri. In 2019 and 2020, she co-chaired the Dancing with the Stars fundraiser at Cristo Rey High School. Prior to that, she chaired an auction for Turner House, a nonprofit aimed at providing low-cost medical care to children in Kansas City, Kansas. For 3 years, Kathleen also chaired an auction for the Daniel Keating Foundation, a charity that lifts up the lives of young people in memory of her nephew. By volunteering for First Call, Kathleen is honoring her late husband's 30 years in recovery, along with the sobriety of her son. She is dedicated to raising funds for First Call to help those overcoming substance use disorder. When Kathleen is not volunteering, you can find her on the golf course or spending time with friends that she has met during her decades of volunteering. 6 children and 12 grandchildren also compete for their BB's time. Much gratitude to you, Kathleen, for your service. And now let's listen to Kathleen in her own words.
I feel chosen and blessed to be able to have the time to volunteer. My motto is, too much is given, much is required. My name is Kathleen Callahan. My job is to raise funds for First Call and also bring awareness of the program to those in the community. So it's a way of giving back and saying thank you to God for all the blessings I have. I meet the most amazing people volunteering. One of my friends asked me, why are you still volunteering? I would not know what to do with my daily contact. First thing I do, I pray, and then I go to my computer and I do something for someone. I had a good friend whose son was battling addiction, and she was looking for help. She wanted a mother's perspective who was going through that with their child. And I was able to help her talk through it and give her some hope. And then First Call popped into my mind. This is what you want me to do, God. And I did. And this is my last volunteer adventure. My husband found the gift of sobriety for 30 years, and he passed away 4 years ago. But through him, I saw the support he got from First Call and other organizations, but a lot with First Call. And then when my son was struggling for sobriety, struggling with addictions, I saw the help that First Call gave him. It feels so good to give back for all the blessings I have had and have, and to help someone who needs something, and the joy in seeing them start their new journey, their new path. It can help someone else's son, someone else's daughter, someone else's spouse. It is so critical to have this, so therefore it's very easy to help generate funds at First Call.
I love First Call and being a part of a community or an agency that really tries to make an impact. We have people come in, walk in, we have people call the crisis line. It's that connection, it's that rapport. So it's not just promoting prevention, education, advocating, but we're actually doing, it's taking that action and be part of this change. Addiction and substance use disorder impacts so many people, and you're not alone, and there's help and hope out there.
What an astounding group of honorees. Congratulations to all the recipients. Hopefully you are applauding at home or in your office just as I am. We thank you for taking the time to share in our first ever virtual annual Gratitude Luncheon, and we are so appreciative of the love and support you have shown us in the comments you shared. May we continue to operate in this same spirit of collaboration and excellence as we move throughout the rest of the year and beyond. Best wishes for a safe and healthy 2021.